Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of CS Cyber. I'm Chad.
I'm Sean.
And today we're actually kicking off a new series. We're going to be talking about the recently passed Ohio House Bill 96.
Right.
We did a podcast on this. We kind of interrupted our water segment to do a podcast on this when it first came out.
Yeah.
But we wanted to do a kind of a deeper dive, right? So today we're going to be talking about the cybersecurity implications of the House Bill and just kind of walking through like why it matters and what it is.
Yeah, we've called this one Cyber Ready Ohio. This is basically going to be your guide to cybersecurity compliance with House Bill 96. So let's just kind of get into it. So the why behind why we're doing this particular podcast. And from a local government perspective, you might be thinking, hey, cybersecurity, that's what my IT guy does. But House Bill 96 really changes that talk track. The bill definitely represents a legal shift. It's putting cybersecurity compliance responsibilities not just on the IT department, but definitely taking this up to leadership in the organization, which historically we've seen it kind of stop at IT. So this, I think, is an opportunity to let others get involved in upper level management.
Right, because it's really just not an IT function, right? I think it falls to IT a lot of times because it is a technology component to it.
Sure.
But there's more than just the technology that's implemented, right? It's the policies, it's the procedures, it's the attitude at the top that really kind of leads the security effort at an organization, I think.
Right, and there are 3,000 to 4,000 political subdivisions in Ohio alone. A few are counting school districts, local government, cities, counties, townships, and then also like counting like water, wastewater facilities, power generation. So there's a lot of organizations in Ohio that are required to be compliant here. Yeah.
So the House bill was passed by the Ohio General Assembly and signed into law in early 2025. Introduced a sharp response to the rise in ransomware.
Yeah.
Right. So we've seen a lot of cities over the last 12 months that have been hit with ransomware and all kinds of things, really.
Yeah. So the state of Ohio, and specifically the Auditor of State, AOS, was basically getting worn out by local governments getting hit with ransomware, and there was like public money being used. Obviously, some of the organizations were paying the ransomware, which involves public money going to terrorist organizations in some cases. So there's a lot to that, and the state is trying to get a hold of that, and we can try and go through kind of the key provisions here, and what is in this House bill and what are the requirements. So let's start with the first requirement that's in the bill for local government. You must have a cybersecurity program.
What does that mean?
Right. So a lot of people just stop right there and go, I don't even know what that means. We covered this in a webinar that we had a couple weeks ago. Basically, this is documented policies and procedures. Policies, plans, controls in place to protect systems and data, and specifically public information. The law does not dictate specifics, and I've been questioned a lot on that. And this is something that local government is not used to. They're not used to having to comply with a standard like this. They may have been required to comply with things like PCI or HIPAA and that type of stuff, CJIS on the law enforcement side. But you have to understand that frameworks like this and mandates like this don't necessarily dictate verbatim what you need to do.
Right. And I think that's really important, right? Because I think even in the House bill, they called out a couple technology-specific components like MFA, passwords, in that bill. And I see a lot of organizations doing that, right? It's like Ohio's done it, the SEC has done it, the EPA has done it. They've mentioned the frameworks in the language. Mm-hmm. I by far would recommend aligning yourself with a framework versus trying to tick off these things off of a list. Right? The framework is going to get you further ahead, farther down the path. It's going to already cover these very specific things that they're calling out. I mean, I really consider all the things that they've called out are really cyber hygiene items, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're nothing that's, mature framework type stuff. Like these are just the basics, and the frameworks are going to get you down that path.
Yeah, and for the vast majority of these requirements, these are unfunded mandates. They did pull out some of the assistance funding out of the bill in lieu of some of the state programs that are out there. So there's the cyber reserves, which is, definitely not stocked, I guess, to be able to assist 10,000 political subdivisions, but can definitely help. That's for sure. You've got the Ohio PCI, which is the Ohio Persistent Cyber Initiative, that can help with the training. I believe that's 24 or 27 hours worth of training. But they basically want you to align with generally accepted best practices. And as far as like the details of what you decide to do are up to your organization. So one of the other most important things is that the cybersecurity materials that you generate inside your organization are now exempt from public records. There's always been a way to kind of circumvent this a little bit, but basically this is good news because this officially puts public records exempt with any cybersecurity material. That can be an assessment result. So somebody comes in and actually assesses you and then produces a report that is exempt from public records. Any vendors or RFPs and those types of things, anything related to the details surrounding the cybersecurity of the political subdivision is now exempt.
That's really important.
No, it is, because a lot of organizations may just fail to do anything because they're afraid that somebody's going to find out.
If I know, everyone's going to know.
Yeah, correct. So, and then the third thing is you can't pay ransomware without a formal approval process now. So because public money is involved, it's going to require the political subdivision to basically use that governing body to take it to council in the form of a public bill, that type of thing.
Public hearing,
yeah.
Nobody wants that, right?
No.
Who wants to bring that before the community?
Yeah, exactly. And not saying that organizations were trying to necessarily hide anything, but once this actually goes out and becomes public record, that you're trying to pay ransom, obviously the spotlight is going to be on you, and there's going to be a lot of questions. So let's just try and not get there at all.
Yeah. So these just aren't recommendations anymore. These are
legal requirements.
Right. So
yes,
cities, political subdivisions have to start taking some sort of action to show progress and moving down.
Yeah, and they should start taking action now. The bill, I think, it's in its 90-day spin-up phase or cool-down phase. Should be around September-ish, like September, mid-September, late September. You should have something. But failure to do anything, there could be legal liabilities, audit findings. We do know that the auditor of state is going to be doing official audits. So if you're a political subdivision, you already go through the, I don't know if they're biannual or triennial audits with the auditor of state. They're now going to be including some type of IT cybersecurity review process as part of their official audit. So,
all right.
But here's the good news. You don't have to necessarily be a cybersecurity expert. We've got this podcast here, and we're going to go through, I think there's seven or eight segments here. We're going to just break down, each component of the requirement. Secure Cyber itself is putting themselves in a position to kind of get out in the community and have road shows type of thing. Conferences, you'll see us at OCMA in 2026 down in Sharonville, where we're trying to talk to them about maybe doing some workshops. Yeah. But don't do this alone. Find a trusted advisor, and we'll get you through this.
Yeah, I see this a lot. I think the hardest part for people is really just kind of getting started from nothing, right? So if you're in that situation, just reach out. We can help you. We can help get you started. And there's a lot of cost-effective solutions to get you moving down this road. So
yeah, for sure.
Don't look at it as the enormity of this cyber program, right? We have it broken down into digestible chunks that will get you moving.
Yeah, and like you said, the majority of what they're talking about in this bill is really hygiene items. So I think for the vast majority of organizations that are out there, you have some things in place. What might happen is we kind of tighten things up a little bit, and maybe as you walk through an official control set, things become a little bit more solidified. So for the vast majority of people, I don't think you're starting over from zero. I think it's just a cleanup process. It's basic hygiene. If I were you, I would just start reading the CIS controls and just start with group one.
Yep.
And just take things one bite at a time, right? The analogy, we've mentioned it before. You don't eat an elephant in one bite, right? So you just take it one bite at a time, and just start with group one. It's easy to digest, understand what they're doing. And then, as far as, one of the questions was, well, what group do we, if we do CIS, what group? They don't mandate what group. That's something that you have to decide as an organization, and you need to be able to articulate that to an auditor.
Right. And I think that framework's a great starting point because it really matures as your organization matures. Like once you get through IG1, start on IG2 items, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
It's there to help you and to mature you through your cyber process, not just to get you to a point and stop.
Yeah, don't start with group 3, that's for sure. Just start with group 1 and work your way up. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us today. This is Cyber Ready Ohio, and we're helping local governments secure their future one episode at a time.
That's right. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.